Let us, Drew.
Drew, Danny, the laundry guy. What the hell's going on over there?
70 degrees. It's not raining. It's Tuesday.
It is.
Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work. You know.
I do. I want to.
Well,
I want to work.
I mean,
smart.
like doers. I mean, doers, like labor people.
I want to work smart. We just went by the laundry. We see some handwritten signs in there. Looks like your tenant's trying to get their 7 customers to go elsewhere. What do we need to do to lease this spot?
Who tenant?
The laundromat. You didn't save my number?
What tenant? Where are you seeing handwritten notes?
There's a handwritten sign on there. Main Street.
Handwritten sign on where?
We have moved across from Sinclair. They stuck a sign in the glass.
Oh, you're talking about the dog groomer that was there.
Yeah.
That's the other side. That's not the laundromat side. That was just a little retail space.
Yeah. Sorry if I wasn't clear. If I need if I need my dog clipped, I know where to go.
Well, I guess I personally wouldn't go there myself. They were an acquired tenant, but anyhow, what do we got to do? I don't know. We've talked about it a million times.
I'm looking to pull the trigger on a bunch of new equipment, make a go of it, but the ball's in your court. You want me to stop calling?
I mean, that's up to you. That's totally up to you. I mean, I think we kind of talked a lot of different times, and I don't know if maybe our dollars and cents aren't on the right page, because I think I've been pretty congruent in telling you kind of where I need to be a month if I was going to do it that way. And then you've sent letter of intent, and I think on the one that you sent, we were about $800 or $900 a month different than where I think we need to be.
That's the starting point, right? The difference with me, and I don't know how a dog groomer works. I assume it's a labor-intensive thing. I hope you have a dozen nephews that know how to trim dogs. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not a dog groomer.
No, I don't know how a hamburger stand works. I know how to eat them, but I do know laundries. I have to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in washers and dryers. Yes, I get a leg up because the infrastructure is there, but as this place sits empty, I told you, I'll call you every 6 months. 6 months on the dot. I don't want another laundromat to go in there and fail trying to run it with that old equipment. I don't intend to do that, but we need to lower our sights on the starting point. I can't give you market rent because it's a laundromat, so that's the catch-22. I know you can get market rent from that burger stand or that dog groomer, but we can't start there. That's why this place failed. Maybe
this place failed. This place failed because the owner, who I think you talked to before I bought the building, acquired it from his dad. His dad had 4 or 5 laundromats. His dad passed away, and the guy didn't maintain anything. I believe that's why it failed. I don't think it failed for lack of customers. I think it failed for lack of maintenance and lack of upkeep, to be totally honest with you.
It's always
and the reason I haven't dove, the reason I haven't dove back in is because I don't have time, and it is what it is.
Well, it's the same.
You know what I mean? It's not like I'm short of dollars. You know, I just don't have time to mess with it. And when I get to that point, whether it's a year, 6 months, 2 years from now, I don't know that I'll keep it a laundromat, or because the one they built down the street and around the corner, I think they've pretty well cornered that market down there. But that's not to say that there's not still people that live closer to one or the other that, if it was right, wouldn't be, you know. But I think at that point, it used to have 100% market share in that area, and now it's only got 50. And I'm just being transparent. I've been in that other one. I just wanted to check it out myself, and they spent a lot of money in that space. But
he failed because he couldn't earn. That's all. That's always the reason. There's a lot of excuses, but if you're making money, life can throw all these curveballs at you, and you're just going to keep playing. You're going to go to the World Series.
You're,
I'm not really a
you're preaching to
sports
the choir,
analogy
man.
guy.
I do that. I do that in a lot of other businesses, so I get it. I agree with
You're
you.
a very busy guy. You're not concerned with the dollars and cents. We're $900 away. You pick up the phone when I call, and I appreciate that. But I would like to see
I always
this.
answer the phone.
Sure, I'd like to see this thing get done. You know, you can mark up the letter of intent. Take 5 minutes to do that, but I can't put my neck in a noose and say, well, I'm willing to pay more. I don't fall in love with these places. The place is not going to make me rich. Having one laundromat is a hobby.
No, you're adding it to a list of 20 or 30 or 40. It's about cash flow. It's not about one makes you rich. It's having 25 or 30 or 40 of them makes you financially stable, I guess you would say. I get the model. I get all that. And I agree with you. I'm not making any money with it now, but I also hate to lock it in at $1,100 or $1,200 a month. And then when my maintenance guys get caught up on the 2 or 3 projects we have going for new tenants now, and we get to that point and we could do something with that space, and now I'm leaving $12,000 or $15,000 a month or a year on the table because we went a different direction or whatever that looks like. Again, I'm still not opposed to doing something on it. I think I guess it's just a matter of what that looks like,
Drew, what's the disposition? Is there a real estate investment trust? Are you one of 2 partners or 10? Who makes the
0?
decisions?
I'm the only one.
It's your building.
I am the guy who makes the decisions. Yep.
You own the building. Okay.
Yep, own it outright. Don't have any partners. Don't have any financial interest from a bank or lending institution. No private mortgages. No contracts.
Appreciate the inside information. Bottom line, if you are thinking in the back of your mind that you want to run this place,
I don't have zero desire to do that.
Okay.
I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm none.
Then you have 2 additional options. 3 really. Number 1. Vanilla the space and end up with more inventory. I hope you can lease it to an optometrist. Number 2, lease it at an unreasonable rate to someone who thinks they're going to run this place successfully the way it sits. You and I both know you're spinning your wheels. Number 3, us. Lease it at a reasonable rate for a laundromat and let us retool it. And then whatever that rate of rent is that we agree to, you're taking it to the bank. That's all. Those are the options. If you have more.
Well, and I guess if it was tiered, hey, we're going to do the first year or 2 years at this, but I know you've consistently talked about having a 5 or 10 or 15-year lease.
There you go. I'm going to take the same exact letter of intent. I'm going to mail it back to you again. My partner will do that. We're going to change the dates and nothing else. Go through it, redline it, tier the lease, tell us what you can do. Let's do that.
Let's take a look at it.
Have a good, happy Father's Day.
You too. Appreciate it, brother.
How do you know I'm a father? He hung up. I don't like people. He hung up. Are you going through the car wash or a tunnel? What's going on with your phone? Call me back. Ask your questions, kids. Make sure you sub because you don't want to miss these lives.
Pulling in Megan Schramm.
Hey, I don't know what we lost because I had perfectly clear on this end. And I haven't moved.
I'd rather not waste time talking about what might have happened with the phone. I don't understand. So what is your opinion of our friend Drew?
It sounds like it's just, I don't know I don't know how he bought it with and doesn't want to do anything with it, and how he's not losing money on it. Or if he bought it outright, okay, then he doesn't care, which is what it sounds like. But if he bought it to use it,
you're regurgitating what he said. But what do you actually think is going on with this guy?
not sure, because I don't know why he would have bought something he's not going to use.
Well, he's got diarrhea of the mouth. I'm sitting here letting him talk, and he doesn't really have anything to say.
Okay.
Mumble. I'm very important. I don't care. I'm very busy. We're not sure what we're going to do with the space. So I'm listening to all of that. I'm encapsulating all of it. You need to realize how much psychology is involved in this. I'm taking every rubber band in the office and making this giant bouncy ball, and then I have to do something with it. I have to play with it. I have to shoot it back his way. So I tell him, look, you've got 3 options. Clearly. I go through what those options are, and maybe this is what takes this dude and calms his mind and makes him realize, yeah, well, you're right. There a 4th option, do nothing. 5th option, sell the building. And a lot of times people will argue with me. No, I could do this or that or the other. This isn't some knockdown, drag out fight. Dude, when 6 months go by and this guy has done nothing, our argument strengthens. That's all that happens. 6 months from now, he'll have no leg to stand on. And again, people say, well, why should you be any different just because you're a laundromat? Why should we give you a lower rate of rent? Because it's a laundromat. You said it. If you don't give a shit that we are investing all this money in equipment, great. Get rid of the infrastructure. We'll leave you alone.
Yeah, he hasn't touched anything with it. Nothing has changed.
Nor will he.
Like aluminum from.
Nor will he. And sometimes they make that threat. Well, I'm going to run it. When I get time, I'm going to turn around and go run it. And then we set our calendar for every 6 months. We call him back and say, why aren't you running the laundromat, bud? What happened? We don't see any change.
And even if he wanted to run it, if we're going to take a swing at it, and if we were it was take a swing at it and fail, then you have the infrastructure redone if they're replacing it. He's just sitting on it. I don't get it.
Well, we have a plan. Make sure that you note the account, who he is, what he said. There are no other partners. He owns it outright. Isn't it funny? You know, I'm so impressed, bud, that you have this thing. And we're not obsessed. We're not going to call. We send an LOI. He ignores the LOI. 6 months later, we call back. Why didn't you redline it? Is he too busy in a given week, month, fortnight, 6 month fucking period to sit down and go, all right, here's what I'm willing to do? Well, if it was tiered,
right.
Whoever said it wouldn't be. You understand what he means by tiered?
It increases over the time frame.
Sure.
And it's supposed to anyway. That's already written into the LOI.
He's talking about jumps above the normal 3% yearly increases. If he's going to give it to you at 12 or 1,300 to start, then he's going to look for, $300 increase year 3, whatever the case may be. But now we are back in the game of negotiating. Always answer my phone. I doubt it. I'm sure when his mom calls, he probably ignores it. So that's telling as well. Still in the fight, still in the game. You've got your marching orders. Go back to the original LOI. Do not change a damn thing. Just change the dates.
Do you want me to send it to you again, or just wait and send it out tomorrow?
Send it tomorrow. If there's anything untoward in there that doesn't make any damn sense, I mean, it should be the same LOI. That's what I told him we're going to do.
Right.
Don't give him the instruction to redline it. The note that I would say is, let's do this, something even shorter than the original message.
Copy.
All right, buddy. Ciao.
Yes, sir. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Is it exhilarating at all for you? Is it exciting? Do you enjoy it? When you listen to me make these types of calls, people love prank calls, I think, because they're listening and there's an element of surprise. You might be the greatest comedian in the world and to do 100 voices, and you can call up and convince somebody that you're a little old lady or a fireman. But the element of surprise, the unknown, is what the caller says and does. And I think that makes it exciting. That's the juice. That excitement, the juice, is what really interrupts people's flow. They're calling a landlord or their agent, and they are so worked up and so excited about owning this small business that they are willing to make major concessions, mistakes even. They will do almost anything to get that location. In my 20 years experience just consulting in this laundry industry, I've had probably dozens of clients who end run me and decide, well, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get this done. And Danny's got this slow-paced bullshit. Call, leave messages. Why don't we email them and say, we want the laundromat? There's a reason for it. Are we pushing this particular landlord into something? No. He sees my name, however he saved my number, Laundromat douche, and he answers the phone and says, yeah. I'm mirroring the attitude of the adversary, and that's what this is. You think it's not adversarial, you're wrong. I'm mirroring the cadence. I'm not going to pretend like I'm from Louisiana. I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to scream at someone who English is a second language to. Those are mistakes. However, when someone has diarrhea of the thought, I just listen. I'm letting him make that rubber band ball so that I can hit it back, so that I can get the deal done. Not an improper deal, not a deal that's going to see you crushed because you're spending too much. Yeah, it's free laundromat, of course, because we're never paying for the business rights. Understand the disposition of the laundromat does not matter as long as it is shitty. Open, closed, has equipment, as long as the infrastructure is there. The preponderance of the stores that we take over through this non-hostile method are operating. Sign is flipped to open, but they are operating poorly in just about every way. Broken equipment is number one. Do you frequent laundromats? Do you go to a laundromat every Sunday? Are you wondering what a good one looks like or a bad one? From 20 feet away, you might think that that laundromat's worth $500,000. You might make the mistake of buying it. But if you were to walk in and try to do your laundry, why do I say try? Because you probably can't. The equipment's broken. The changer's out of order. It's closed at 6:30 on a Sunday. All indications of failure. The indications that you must understand. This is a slog. And it's well worth every bit of it. put on your fucking galoshes and come along. Ask me some questions in the chat, people. I'm here to help. It's a huge no-no in television to just have dead air, right? Radio. I don't mind it. I'll wait for your questions. Let's do the big twofer.
The man, the myth, and the legend. How are we doing, Danny?
What are you at lunch, sitting there watching YouTube?
I actually took the day because my mom is in town. So
lovely.
Between this being our day and the folks being in, I said my just over broke can wait a minute.
Well, don't make it my fault. I do not recommend that any client changes their work schedule because of this thing. That is not something I would recommend, but glad to hear that mom is in town. All right, so the first one that I see here, we are saying is new to us, and I have checked the address against all of my previous history, and it is certainly new. And we've got a management company, and you got the phone number, you say, from taxes?
That's correct. I was watching some of your videos, and that's one of the things that you mentioned. So I will go to, it's like a parcel database, and you'll get the owner there, right? Who's making the tax payment.
Okay.
And then from there, I'll Google search the exact context of the name and number, and that's actually a lot more helpful. So
sure,
the two combined are found to be right, as opposed to me just throwing a name or just an address, the name and address. Fluff around a little bit, and I can find a number.
All right, so it's an internet search for lack of any better understanding. And the number that you're providing is a management company. You don't have a contact human?
So no, not for this one. For these guys, I wasn't able to get a hold of one. I forgive me, I kind of horseshoed this one in there. One or two of these I kind of horseshoed, and hopefully the comments will indicate as much, but I did not speak to an actual person before I got an answering agent, or if you will, or assistant, not an answering service. I got that individual, but I didn't get connected with this particular address.
I hear what you're saying. I'm not going to forgive you because this is your go. And, the more research you do, the better information you find. It's not the end of the world. I'm not here to scold you either. I am going to call the number, and it's simple enough matter to try to figure out who the agent is, if in fact we're able to get anybody. Don't forget, it looks like a big outfit, and they've got a fancy telephone number, and they have a website on Google Nader, but you call and you find out that it's not that. It's rinky-dink. Hopefully we can get a person. You can mute your phone. I see you're in the document. Please take the notes. Here we go. Stand by. Here you're getting raw live content, kids.
Good afternoon, Murray Hills.
Good afternoon, Murray Hills. I am looking at some commercial space hoping to talk to your commercial agent about leasing said space, please.
Wolf is out of the office. Do you want to leave your name and number and he can call you when he gets back?
I would love to do that. What was his name? I'm sorry.
Bill.
Bill.
And his last name is Rudolph.
Excellent.
Okay. And your name?
My name is Danny D'Angelo.
Okay.
Let me
And
give
the
you
number
my
he can
cell
reach you
phone, the
at.
only number you need.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right. When he gets back, I'll have him give you a call.
What is your name?
Masha.
Thank you, Marcia.
Okay. Thank you. I'll have him give you a call.
Masha.
I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
So,
the hot
as
ass in Boston.
much as it pains me, all we are doing is leaving messages, but we have a name, right? And this is why note taking is important. Whether you're selling newspapers or trying to scoop up your free laundromat, you've got to note the date, time. So it all begins with Danny dialed and talk to Masha, blah, blah, blah. Now we have a name. We know who the guy is. So when we call back, we can ask for him direct. And you can go into the website. You can poke around and see if you can't find the guy's cell phone number. Okay?
Absolutely.
Does Bill have a cell phone? Of course he does. All you need to do is find it. We have one more chance for glory here in a real live conversation. The dude's name is Chris. You say you found it from taxes. And you're very new to this. So you're giving me a phone number and then you say possible alternative number. I'm not gonna call possible alternative numbers. The shitty part about this, dude, is if we call the first number, which you found on the internet, and it just is a generic AI voicemail, we never really know. So I'm looking for you. I'm begging you. Vet the numbers.
Yeah, can I
make sure that
can I chime in there for a second?
Of course. Absolutely.
Yeah, so with that one in particular, let me jump to Chris. Right. So this is, I did call this family landline. I got the voicemail of presumably the wife. Candidly, if we only have one more, forgive me, I would like to jump down to, if you search for Washington Web, that one is co-owned by the same person that we talked to last time,
so
or
now,
the same
now I've spent a few minutes, and minutes lead to hours, and hours lead to days. I spent a few minutes on this.
Yep.
Just small thing. Please put the stores we're going to be calling in in numerical order, just like when you read a book. So instead of me jumping to page whatever it is, if you've got good vetted information for a different one, let me know. All right, so this is the Fear and Loathing.
Not Fear and Loathing. Wash and No Web. You might see me if you search for WEBB. Fear and Loathing's a pretty decrepit one, but yeah, there you go. I see you.
There's page numbers and everything else. So you're telling me this is new.
I'm sorry, I should have
as
said
well. It's okay, dude.
Yeah.
Chris. From signage or Google random junk. I'm confused. Where did you get the number?
Signage. You call the management company and you get that guy, or you get his name and contacts. The Google results were
okay. But you see what I'm reading? It says from signage or Google random junk.
So, yep, I'm sorry.
That's okay. You have to read this back like I would read it. So Google shows nothing, and the number is from a sign. Who are we calling? What's the guy's name?
Chris Brown is the one that we're calling. Carol Rash is the one that we spoke to last time. I'm told that Chris manages this one. If it's not Chris, then it's going to be Carol, and then we'll be hitting Carol up for 2 properties.
All right. Now I'm even more confused. We spoke to Carol on another property.
That's right. Both of these properties are managed by the same company, the Hamilton company.
So why would we now be calling a different person?
So when I called the Hamilton company, right, I made friends with the assistant, and the name that she gave me was Chris. And she was pretty sure about Chris, but she also said, if it's not Chris, then it's going to be Carol.
So we already have our foot in the door. We already spoke to
With
Carol.
That's
Carol is the one we need to be talking to.
I'm with it. You had me. Hello.
Doesn't that make sense in business?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, to go further, when we spoke to Carol on another store, what did she say?
Her words that we coined her at, I will bounce this tenant so fast.
Oh, okay. So it sounds to me like you have a good, viable option for a laundry. Bro, I think you understand. I don't remember these deals. That's not the only reason for good note taking, but I don't fall asleep at night concerning myself. I never did, not with my own stores, not with you can't live that way. So if we call Carol, we need to say, by the way, we have another store here that we think that you have your fingers in the pie of. What say you? It doesn't make sense to call Chris and get him involved since we already have a relationship with Carol.
I concur.
By the way, thank you. By the way, this address should be a twofer connected to the other address. Where are we at with Carol on the other store? What are we waiting on?
Carol did not reply. You sent the initial email, and that's about it.
Okay. That is a store that we should be dialing back. And we can also mention this one. What is the nickname for the store we already called Carol on?
If you search Bounce, Busy Bees Laundry is what it's called.
Bounce.
And the title is
right.
Bounce So Fast.
Right.
That is page 43. I think I see you there.
Where did we leave it? I know she said, yeah, I'll get rid of the guy, et cetera, but are we waiting to find out what the rent rolls look like? Are we waiting to figure out when his actual lease expires? What are we doing?
Yeah, that's right. So she couldn't access the rent rolls. Her computer was broken when we talked, so she couldn't do square footage and rent, right? I believe, let's see, what did she say? 15 square foot? And you're like, there we go. Market was what she mentioned. She mentioned market 30 times.
You're only looking at a couple of stores and you can't remember. So there's no way I could remember. This is why
I would never pigeonhole you that. Yep.
Is really important. Okay. I have the number for Carol. I'm going to dial it. Here we go. I'm not. Subscribe. Do it. Subscribe.
You've reached the desk of Carol Rash and Company. I'm unavailable to take your call. Please leave your name, telephone number, and a reason for your call, and I will return your call as soon as I'm available. Thank you.
Please leave your message after the tone. When done, hang up or press the pound key.
Carol, Danny D'Angelo, the laundry guy. Call me back. My cell. You should have it saved. Appreciate you. We might have another store to talk about as well. That's it. That's all. Some of this, Mr. Butler, is going to make perfect sense. Some of it might be a little convoluted, such as, why would we call another agent on a store that we've already discussed another store with a particular agent and have a rapport? It's hard enough to get these people on the phone, as you can see. Did Carol save my number? I don't know. When I dialed it, she comes up in my phone and links to you. It's simple. Thank goodness you can have tens of thousands of contacts in your iPhone. I don't have that many, but thousands. If and when she dials me back or sends a text or shoots up a carrier pigeon, I will get you back on the phone.
Most excellent.
You're muting your phone. You know damn well we're live on the YouTube machine, and we don't have a huge bunch of questions here, but I asked people to ask. So if you have a minute, you can hang on here with us. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely, Danny.
Oh, so exciting. You wrote Butler and Butler. That's exciting. Hot Dogging with Dan wants a free laundromat. Shut up, Dan. You're being stupid. What's the minimum parking space for a laundromat? There is no number for that, Jorge. There's no minimum parking space. If you're in Brooklyn, New York, people come down from the building. There's hundreds of them up there squirreling around, and you don't really need parking. If you're in LA, everyone has a car. So the laundromat will survive if it has the infrastructure. I'm not as concerned as parking as a lot of people. If you've got a giant parking lot, if there's 1 million square foot and there's a check cashing store that doesn't use many spots, you're better off, sure. But parking is never the make it or break it. Hey, Danny says, Sean, do you feel most people fail to meet people? Do you feel most people fail to meet people where they are at with their crappy disposition, both in life and business, leads to miscommunications and missed opportunities? Sean, most people are fucking idiots. You're supposed to laugh at that, Baltimore.
I'm losing it,
You
Danny.
keep muting your phone. Is there like dogs barking over there at the house? What's going on?
Not at all, man. It's the Danny show, but I'm happy to be the background commentary. But I mean, you're right, man. That most people do not have that, as you will,
My wife
chutzpah to get out of their own way.
My wife says it must be terrible to be you. And I say, you don't want to be in my head. Now, this could go back to IQ. It could go back to being able to think. There's no script. You call this a show. Well, this is me doing my level best to put as many people into these cash businesses as I can. The last time somebody said, hey, thank you. What I mean by thank you is, hey, you charge a little money, Danny, but it's not enough. And when someone says that to me, normally they're wealthy. Normally they want to have a third or fourth business, and they're interested in laundries. And those people in that disposition, they realize, like, why do you do this? Why do I do it? Because the alternative...
You definitely do it for the love of the game.
Right. The alternative is what?
Oh, we'd be getting eaten by the wolves out here. Are you kidding me?
Right. I have plenty of time to go to Formula One races all over the world, to build on my property, to do the things, and plenty of time to do this. Because if you give me the right proper contact phone number for the right landlord and or their agent, we're going to get this done lickety split. Get a yes or a no or indifference. If it's wrong information or information that's poor, et cetera, so on, and the stupid document is the best way I can find to do it, working together. I have some people that they literally are blocked by filling out a document. Well, how do you expect to do this together? You're just going to explain the laundromat to me, and I'm going to say, okay, I don't want videos. I do need photos. None of this is hard.
Yeah. I thought one thing that you said was interesting, right, was, the perfect situation will come up. LOI will go out, you'll hear back, and then, your client, right, who you're consulting for will ghost, right, and they'll just disappear. That fear kicks in, that boogeyman underneath the bed gets the best of them. And I'm completely shocked and appalled to it. But to your point, some people are idiots, as you said, right, to quote Danny.
They go to the job every single day, and they sit in their cubicle and they fill out their TPS reports, and they can't stand it. They can't stand their boss. There's no cute girls anywhere near them, whatever it is. And so they have this concept, this idea, this dream, if you will, that they want to own a small business. And then eventually they worm their way through the internet and they think laundromats are a thing. They find me, They bring me on board. We make a few calls. An LOI is accepted, and they ghost me. That's what he's referring to. Now, when I first started, I thought, well, these people don't want to pay any more than a retainer. They've taken the ball, they're running with it, they're doing the rest themselves. I mean, that's right. I don't know. Turns out none of them were, none of them are, none of them do. They sit on their hands, they go back to the cubicle. It's like one of these, when's the last time you saw a movie? Answer quickly. A film that had a great ending. I'll wait. Right? Right?
Yeah.
The last time. You're in the middle of it, and it's like I love business, and I love movies. So if there's a movie with business, I'm there. Goodfellas, great business movie, right?
Great.
Okay, it's a mob movie, but same difference. I'm looking halfway through that movie, I'm starting to worry about the ending recently. I'm not talking about Scorsese. Come on, you're there. Martin Scorsese's directing, I'm there. I don't need to hear anymore. I don't need to watch the trailer.
Well, you're wondering, how's he going to tie this whole thing together?
This dude sitting in his cubicle, that's the ending to the movie. You might turn it into One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and you're coming with me, Mac.
Death of a salesman.
I can't speak to people's intestinal fortitude when it comes to doing something different. The grass is greener. That's what it is. They will never jump the fence. They know the grass is greener. Well, that's a different metaphor, but they'll never know. And they realistically should be happy in their cubicle filling out their TPS reports for the rest of their lives because they had the opportunity, they didn't take it, and it was right there staring at them. You malt are different.
I get the goosebumps just thinking about it.
Either one of these knuckleheads calls me, I'll let you know.
All right. Have me on hello. I'll be on standby.
Later. Say hi to your mom. And there's the comment for the video. Keep your ears on, kids. Dan, send me a text. Let's hang out.